Nice. Most of us are still here. This is exciting. Very cool. Well, welcome back. Sorry it took so long, Christina. My God. But life's short. I totally appreciate that. I wasn't sure what would happen if I were switch kind of, setups while I'm still on air. I don't know if I've never tried that before. So I thought I better best go off air. New clip, new title, new everything. And all. Sorry, ma'am. Let's see if this works then. So let's do, if I do that, does that? Yeah, that works. Look at that. Perfect. So we've got this still, we've got that still. This is all awesome. And now we have that. And we need to do this. So we hear this thing. And I believe I need to do this, I think. Oh no, it's that was really bizarre this morning actually, because I thought, oh yeah, great, I'm going to start with Stardew this morning, second day. I thought, this is great. I'll do one at 10 and then we'll meet back at 5 for some 3D stuff. That was the plan, and felt really up for it. And then of course what happened, internet went down at 9 o'clock, and it came back up at about 11. But during that time when we didn't really know what was going to happen, Julia put up her hotspot from her phone because she works from home, so she needs the internet, and Wi-Fi hotspot kind of works, LTE hotspot. So then I thought, well, I had nothing else planned, and maybe I'll do whatever. And then I thought, that's also on the internet, so I can't really do that. But I did log in her hotspot and found this game. So this is today. This is my last day on the Apple Arcade. Quickly downloaded it. It's only 300 megabytes. And took a look at it. So Apple Arcade, if you don't know, it's on the Apple TV, little Apple TV unit that lets you connect a regular PlayStation controller to it. Very cool. PlayStation and Xbox controllers and also MFI controllers will work. And it's very cool. $5 a month. You can play as much as you like. How the developers get paid, I don't know. I really don't know. I suppose it's the amount of time you spend in a game. I think that's how it works. And I thought this looked interesting, and I've been playing it for like 3 or 4 hours today and nearly got stuck. But it's a short game. It's kind of an arcade, like a kind of an iOS type game. It's available on Steam as well. First person puzzle game, so there's no shooting. And it's kind of mysterious. Let's start this with a new game. If you want to start a new game, game progress will be lost. Yes, that's cool. Good point. Yes, I haven't. Choose free roam. Yeah, man, free roam. Movement can be changed anytime in settings. Well, I didn't know that. That's good. That's good to know. I don't think I got that option when we started. So it has elements of superliminal. Is there any audio? I don't remember. Is there any audio right now? Interact with items. There's some music. I just want to make sure we have some audio here, because I ain't hearing nothing. Oh, that might also be because I think I know the answer to that. 1 second. If I do that. And then I kind of do that, don't I? No, not that. Yes, that, actually that. And then I think, is that how I do it? No, you see, that's not how I do it. I didn't capture audio. What's happened? Where's my audio coming in? Do I then need to go? I'm sorry about that. It's I should have really set that up earlier, shouldn't I? I felt so under pressure. That is that. Yes, but then how do we capture that? Is that not how we capture that? Shouldn't there be an audio source here somehow? Is that not how that works? Yes, it is. But where is it? Well, that's lame, isn't it? That should, should just work. And it totally doesn't do that. Because that's on, but it's not here. That is bizarre. Okay. Well, I'll just have to excuse this. That is... You heard the game music. Okay, maybe it's just very quiet then. That could be. I'll go and go to a place where I know there is music, because I just haven't heard anything. If there was game music, that's all good. I would imagine there's footsteps and all that, but hey. So we're in this little antechamber right now, and this we can pick up. Let me know if you hear any sound effects, because I don't hear any, but that might just be because my monitoring isn't enabled. It is, isn't it? So this has been done by a single developer by the name of, if I could only remember, I'll tell you in a moment. Dan Godbey, I think. Jason Godbey, I'm so sorry. Jason Godbey, single developer. He works on AAA titles usually, and he did this in his spare time. Don't know what engine he was using. Oh, good. Got a suitcase. There is ducking on my mic, but I don't think I'm not hearing anything from my capture card. So more importantly, we're going to get that sorted, I'm sure, in a moment. Just to let you know what happened, the world has just been extracted from anything, from color. So we now see this black and white, which is interesting. Outside seems to still be colored, but the inside is now black and white. So investigate suitcase, I suppose this is how we get stuff. We'll get to a scene in a moment where I know there's music, and at that point I can adjust it better. Some kind of a viewing machine. And I believe we need to combine this with that. I forgot how we do that now. I think like this. Yeah, there we go. Items successfully combined. All right. Okay, and just to get out of here, to get the game going to the level where there is music, and the level in which we spend most of our time, I believe, we go into... Not into the elevator, actually. I think it's into a picture. Oh yeah, what were they called again? Viewmaster, was that it? I've played that this morning and I've already forgotten how it works. How interesting. Was it this? I think it was this. We use this and we look through this. And that transports us magically. But the controls on the Apple Arcade version are a little bit naff, I must say. So this game, on this level here, frame rates are okay, I'd say. But in the next level, it's not as good, I'd say. Oh, Rod. I remember mine was red. Actually, mine might have been like the advanced version of that. It had like a disc that you could slide in, and you could replace those discs. And then one was with whatever, Disney Pictures, and another one was with other stuff. Oh, there we go. It's another room, isn't there? There we go. That's what I was looking for. So this room still has color, and it looks like we need to go through this picture. I really like this. When you go and use this thing on here, it just goes and puts you there, which is so cool. And see, what I need to do is I haven't switched monitoring for this thing on. And I will look at the sidechain ducking settings, and they're actually okay. But I was just not hearing my own signal, which was uncool. There we go. Now I can hear the footsteps as well. That's exciting. That's what we like. So Diner, darkness, frame rate bad. That is a bit of a shame. And I'm sure this is only in the Apple Arcade version. I guess that's just a bit too much going on in the scene, or it's not optimized enough. So I'm sure the Steam version works much better than this. It's just a very nice, creepy atmosphere. Like, how do we restore the color? That is what we need to do. And I spent most of the day trying to find out. See if I can remember. And this is also nice to just commemorate this game in my, at least somewhere on my channel. I might even turn up for the premiere this time. Thank you for reminding me, Christina. It is, right? Yeah, 50s, 60s, something like that. It looks like we can't get in here yet. It's also some kind of a water tower thing. $8, that's right, yeah. And I mean, people play it within an hour or two, but there's a lot of things that I didn't know about this game. So one of them is that if you do get stuck, there's a hint system. There it is. So I can just go click on hint, and then it'll tell me the area in which something needs to be done, and that's really nice. But I didn't know that for half the game. I didn't even know there was this menu here. So that's good to know. And there's controller support, but it's also, you know, mouse and keyboard. Oh, really? Is there? How exciting. Drop the link in the chat, Dreamlab. That's really exciting because The Search is his other game. He made that before this one. And don't worry, it's cool. That's exactly what attracted me to it as well. And it is just as difficult to work out some of the puzzles. So I'll try not to give much away. But I'll also, now I know I won't get stuck, so that's, you know, that's nice. Because I was actually thinking of getting this on Steam, but if the search is included for about $8, that is a great idea. Well, thank you so much. The Search is a point-and-click adventure, and this one's kind of, you know, full-on immersive thing. But yeah, great stuff. And I will drop the website of the developer in the chat now, because you can see some of his other work, and it's just absolutely amazing. He works as an environment artist on AAA titles, and he hasn't exactly said which ones, but by the quality of his work, you can say you can tell he's, you know, he's done this before. You see, it's Jason's website. He's the developer. Boom. Jason Godbey, or Godbey, something like that. Do you know, I think that was, if it was from the 50s, there's also one from the 90s, I think. We have an upstairs. Dinah has an upstairs, that's nice. I love to play this with a decent frame rate. People say it goes up to 144 frames a second, no problem. I felt like when I looked at this the first time, I felt like it looks a bit just like an untextured preview in a 3D application. Ah, TV. Pleasantville, that's the one, exactly, Pleasantville. Looks like there's nothing on. And what I found a bit weird about the navigation on the Apple TV is that, like, you can open the menu with the square button, like the inventory, open and close that. But when you pick an item like this, you press X and that's fine. And if you wanted to use it, I would press X again. But what that does, it just puts it back in the inventory. So it's kind of counterintuitive. You take it out, then you have to close the inventory, and then you can use this thing. And if it can interact with something, it would light up. So I don't think the viewer can interact with anything right now. UHF. Oh my goodness. That is an interesting word. Was that ultra high frequency? So as we gradually restore the colors of the game, we currently don't see everything that exists because it's a different color. Like there's an object here that is blue, but because we don't have the blue color yet, we don't see that. Rod, very true, very true. Newspaper, today's headlines. I was wondering if they turn into something, but I don't think they do. I'm still waiting for that to happen. Wasn't there, so there was the VHF and UHF, and I think VHF was very high frequencies and UHF was ultra high frequencies. And I remember on our TVs back in the day, VHF, there was only ever one channel, and then the rest was on UHF. Now, 20 points right back at you, Rod. If you can tell me what the significance and the difference was between these things. Because I've forgotten. Maybe you can enlighten me. It had something to do with television signals. Chris, you're back. That's exciting. I seem to remember VHF. I was never big into VHF because by that time we had it and we only had this one channel on it. I think it had to do with how much bandwidth they could put through the thing. through the airwaves, and as they gradually increased it, especially for color TV, they needed more and more bandwidth, and I think that's when UHF became popular because they just needed that extra frequency for just more channels. I think VHF was cool when they had like one channel and that was at a lesser bandwidth than channels would become eventually. Because there was, we talk about HD before 4K came along, and it actually turns out that there once was a HD, which was the kind of PAL/NTSC system, or that's what that meant. Because there was like in the UK at least, there was a system that was 405 lines of television signal, and that was a much lower frequency than the 625 lines that we used after that, and that was called HD, like, you know, in the 50s, I guess. Before that, there was the system that was just regular television, and that was at a much lower frequency, and that only had 405 lines. Fun fact. And it was black and white. Oh, actually, I think we can grab something with this bucket out of this well here. And I seem to remember we need to combine the hook with the bucket. Haha! And I think then we can go and put that here. That's how it changes color. See what we can find. Right, all the good stuff, right? That could also be greater distance. That might also explain a lot. Ooh, thank you so much, Christina. And they were all terrestrial, right, back then? Very good. Thank you, guys. Very nice. That was on PBS. How exciting. Penny Hill on PBS. Very good stuff. Did we take that bucket? We did, didn't we? Bucket with water. Oh, right. There's water in there. Right. Okay. Good. Bucket with water. I wonder if that ticket might... Oh, I can't insert that anywhere. I was thinking maybe I could just insert that into the cash register. Maybe something happens. Man, it was only a few hours ago that I played this game. I've already forgotten how to do it. Fantastic. Short-term memory. Satellite TV in the 70s. Steve, really? That's exciting. I don't remember that. I don't recall that. But then I was 8 years old in the 70s. That might explain it. Was there anything in this drawer? Ah. No. Excellent. That's... I guess not. Yeah, so we have a bucket full of water. We have a viewer. And we have a mysterious ticket with 3 question marks. Yeah, I think, well, at least in Europe, the whole satellite extravaganza that really took off in the 80s. I'm not sure. I think the 70s, I don't know if they had TV satellites. They probably did, but it's not something for the consumers. Like I remember watching TV shows in the late 70s, early 80s where they had these live TV show, like in a live segment they would have a celebrity from across the pond in the show, and he would only be available for 10 minutes because at that point the satellite would move out of range, and because back then they didn't have geostationary satellites, so that came kind of early 80s, I think, when they made the commercial geostationary satellites 36,000 kilometers above the surface of the Earth, above the equator to be precise. At that point they can be perceived as a fixed spot while the Earth is moving at the same speed as the satellites are moving, and they are called geostationary, or they're in geosynchronous orbit, and that means you don't have to worry about the satellite kind of moving. Some satellites still do that. They still move, usually in a figure of 8 when they're in declining orbit. And that then, if they're kind of, too low to be in a fixed spot, they're being perceived as a figure of 8 in the sky. And you have special satellite dishes that move with them. So you can use them, but you have to have a special satellite dish for that. Crazy stuff. Let's pick up that hook as well. Nicely done. What did you do in Blender? Medieval shield, right. Hey, does that rock look familiar to you, this one here? Looks exactly like one of the rocks I made in Blender not so long ago on the little Mars rover cracked landscape project, you remember? It looks exactly like that rock. Handmade rock. Wow, speed modeling, I like it. I don't know if we do something with a bucket of water here. No, looks like we don't. There's also no way up into this. Interesting. I can't believe I've forgotten how to play the game. I really don't remember what the next step is. That's kind of cool, actually, I must say. Have we really found everything? I have a feeling we've just overlooked a detail here. So this thing, we've already pulled the ticket out. That's cool. This is empty. The curious observer will see that there's a bar stool missing. So that'll be inserted into here. I do know exactly, Dreamlab. Very good, very good. Christina, it's less about you and more about how your absence makes me feel, or the thought of you being in ginormous trouble. It's just the mental impact that that has, you know, the impact that your absence has is probably bigger than you can imagine. We really can't do anything with this, can we? Dang. I'm so glad that you're back. That's partly why I'm thinking it might make a big difference if we have morning streams as well. Not only is everyone up at this point in time at 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, but it allows me to do this around my work, and it just gives us that opportunity to check in and just, you know, be in a safe place, that what this is. And I'm thinking, you know, it's just nice to have another opportunity, and especially a game like this is like, it's less about the game, it's more about us hanging out, really. And that's what I really like, and hence I thought Stardew Valley might be a really good idea to just put something on and we can just go and meet, have a chat, and then, you know, we all have to go our separate ways again. But not doing that for 4 days in times like these where things literally happen on an hourly basis, it's not good. Steve, how does that work for you? 10 o'clock in the morning, what is that your time? That is pretty late, isn't it, in the evening? I see you can watch it on your mobile device then. I don't know what else to do next. There's probably something really simple. Let's see if we can work it out. Do we need to look through something with the viewer thing? Do we need to do something with the hook? What did I need to do with the water again? I remember having to... Seeds. Yes, something about this. Something about seeds, but I don't think we're there yet. What happened to the water again? What happened to the bucket again? So, tell you what I do remember. There's a couple of rooms upstairs, but we need to find something first that restores the first color, which is green, and I don't remember how to do that. Oh, this is what we need to do. This is a plant. See, now that I'm articulating it, this is where we can use that water. And I think that makes this kind of grow. Something's going to happen. Look at that. The bucket has changed color. It's got this glow on the outside. It's very tough to see. I wish they had made that a bit more obvious, because as you try and move over other objects, this is something I wish they had made a little bit more obvious when an object can interact with something else. There we go. And this is another one of those things that we can now use with our viewer. The cash register picture. All right. So this is kind of, I guess this was just a draw rather than it being a printer. So what this viewer thing is cool for is that you can use it and then look through it with a certain card inserted, and you look at certain objects with it, and then you'll see the object differently or something happens. So it's very cleverly done, that. So I guess it gives us a clue. The cash register picture is now in it. So let's go and view the cash register with it. And now the cache register is open. And that's that green prism that we need. Very interesting, huh? So apparently there's some secrets that we can unlock the same way. So like apparently, and I really don't know how to do it, apparently you're supposed to look in this corner somewhere, there's a secret. I have not found it because the thing isn't changing color. So I don't know if it's not in the Apple Arcade version or if I'm doing something wrong or if a card needs to be inserted. But the secrets I've read about in many walkthroughs, I don't find them. Do you know? Yes, I think that is the next thing that we need to do. Midnight for Steve, huh? Well, maybe if Steve is suffering from insomnia, he can totally join in. So look, this is where the prism goes. And I think that'll give us another clue. Namely this. So I guess what's happened here is that this is a green object, and when the thing isn't inserted here, we can take that out again, we don't see the object anymore. So I suppose it was still there, but because the color green was not part of it, we didn't see the object and couldn't interact with it. Yeah, this is the unintuitive bit I was talking about. I'm picking this thing, I'm holding it in my hand, I'm pressing X because I want to put it where it needs to go, but I have to dismiss the thing first, and only then can I press X to put that in here. So counterintuitive. Yes, that is what it is. And now that I have this, I think this is now something I can combine with a hook. Because this is also something it took me forever to figure out. This is where the game continues. Do we do anything with this here? Was that how it worked? No, we do not. Aha! Successfully combined. And I like that you can now see a bit of color coming into this whole world. And I think this allows us to open the attic door now. I think. Yes. Aha! Let's take a look at the attic. Oh, did you both this one and the other one? Excellent, Christina, nice. Good stuff. I wish Steam had an affiliate program. If it had, Dreamlab, you should sign up. You're always giving us the best Steam tips. Yeah, I might do that as well. I just like to check this game out in the Steam version. And also I'm excited about the other game, the point and click game, the Search. This is exciting because it reminds me of Superliminal, this whole thing. This is something I did work out earlier. I wonder if he's built all this by himself. I mean, he certainly knows how to do it. I wonder if he did do it. Tell you, I'm not quite happy with the way the sidechain ducking thing works. It's just a bit too much for me. Kind of cuts out the music before it should do that. Do you know, it's not actually about the chess pieces. I think it's about the moon. So this is a very exciting puzzle. It very much reminds me of Superliminal. But I forgot how do we do this. There we go. We turn the crane, and then we go and lower it. See what I'm saying? And I think then we grab the moon, indeed. So this, with the mouse and keyboard, this is probably much easier, because it's just easier to click on the things that you want to click on. Like, I'm gonna go and grab this, and there it is. It's not round at all. I mean, it's not a sphere at all. It's flat. No, doesn't want to do that. There we go. And now open up. Yes. The flat mooners. Indeed, yes. And now, how do I get out of this? Oh, there it is. Sometimes the cursor is difficult to see. And also very difficult to position the way the controls are set up. It's a bit of a shame. So now that we have that, there's no moon in the sky anymore. That's something for later, I guess. Crank, that could come in handy. Oh, good! So now you can burn the midnight oil again, Chrissy. Hey, fantastic! I'm glad it arrived in Australia. That is so nice. So equipped with that new crank, there's something else we can dig out of that well, which now has a second thing attached here. Yeah, man. Pick, dismiss, then click thingy. Great. Mine is sadly empty. I might have to grab another cup of tea in a minute. Blue crystal, alright, very cool. Actually, I might just do that. Let me just go grab another cup of tea and I'll be back in 2 secs. As the kettle boils. Well, they've told me, Christina, your mug has been dispatched, so it's on the way to you, and I've dispatched it to your sister's address. So I hope she's going to get it, and I hope the German mail people are going to deliver it. I don't know how it's going to arrive in Germany. I don't know how they ship it, what they ship it with. Yes, but I'm hoping you're going to get it soon. Oh, no mail service. Yes. And we still have that, so mail is still, that's still happening. Nursing home. I hope you have internet there as well. So while the kettle is boiling, let's grab that blue crystal. And where do we put that again? Ah, color is coming back. Bit by bit. Where do we put the blue crystal? Attic, right. Yes, attic. Let's do that. Ohanga Gaming, thank you so much for subscribing on YouTube. I much appreciate that. Why do you need the internet? Because I don't want to go insane, social worker. That is why. Do you know, I have a feeling the blue crystal goes into this cupboard, but I can't quite work out how we get rid of this. That's a bit tricky. How did that disappear? I forgot about that. That might be. Actually, no, I don't think it does. I think I know which one you mean. Let's have a quick look at that. Oh my God, Christina. We were talking about this, Dreamlab and I were talking about this, that back in the day when you didn't have internet with you all the time, you just get bored out of your mind. Like I remember waiting at bus stops and it was just nothing to do. I didn't have a book or anything with me. It was terrible. Bless you. Oh my God, Julius just sneezed. Dun, 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 dun. Nito, 1, 2, 3, 4. Thank you so much for subscribing on YouTube. Very much appreciated. Subscribers are up on YouTube currently. It's crazy. I think last 28 days I had 360. That scared me. It's a lot of subscribers. Nothing in the news. But still, yeah. I was thinking that this morning when my internet was out, and that was only a couple of hours, if anything. I was thinking, oh, I'll just do this. Ah, that's a web service. Oh, maybe this. Ah, that's a web service. It's like most of what I do is in some way, shape, or form connected to the internet. Kettle is boiled. I will be back. I'm back. Oh, Clo 3D. Yes, of course. Marvelous Designer always does this thing as well. You log in and it says, hey, I need to speak to the internet. At least Photoshop, I think they let you not have an internet connection for about 30 days. If it's they deem it okay if you haven't connected in 30 days. And I've read somewhere that if you needed to go, to the Antarctica for 6 months and you need Photoshop there, then you can get a special permission from Adobe to not connect. But that's like only, you're going to speak to people and stuff. Very important. So... it doesn't work at all, right? Exactly. It tries to, you start this thing up, it's talking to the internet, and if it doesn't see it, tough. We were wondering about how they'll handle it if, God forbid, the Marvelous Designer people ever go out of business. If they'll release a patch that will make it non-internet aware or whatnot. Blender people did that as well. a while ago. I think they discontinued that now, but there was a way that people on computers that were not connected to the internet couldn't actually start Blender, and it would check every so often. It wasn't a lot. It was like 4 times a year, but people were fine running Blender on non-internet computers, and it's quite a hoo-ha about that. I have a feeling we may have to consult a hint, see if that gives us a clue about something. Oh my god, wouldn't that be nice? That would be really cool. Yeah, have a Photoshop replacement that is not GIMP. Nothing against GIMP, but it's just not quite there yet. You know, I think mine is version 6.5. That's a perpetual license. And still that wants to dial in on the internet. It does not let me just use it. Even though I own it, it checks the license. Indeed, that's exactly the point of a non-internet computer, isn't it? Virus-free, can just, you know, there's mission-critical data on there. I'm gonna go for a hint. Do you have any other ideas? What I should do before I ask for a hint? This in here, by the way, in this drawer, that is an object that we can pick up, but only once we've inserted the blue crystal. So this is not where that goes. No, ticket has a number now. 1227 and a nice little leaf. Oh, really? Oh, dang. So only ever on this computer. If ever my hardware changes, I have to rewrite to them, I guess. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Okay, let's do a hint. The hints are nice. They're cryptic, and they just go and just give you literally a hint. It's not, they don't give you the solution, but there is a green glow on the locks of the cabinet in the attic. True. Maybe the green glow is a clue on how it can be unlocked. Interesting. Maybe the green glow is a hint of how it can be unlocked. Yes, it is a clue. It is a clue because, like we said earlier, like this thing here, there was a green stick that was hovering on the wall, right? But it was only there when I inserted the green crystal. So I suppose it might work the same way now, that the green crystal is inserted and an object is blocking the entrance to that little cupboard in the attic. So I wonder if we just remove the green crystal, if the object is gone, and we can fiddle with whatever's inside the thing. Maybe that is what it means. Let's give it a go. Aha! Ha 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 ha! That is nice, isn't it? Woo! Let's pop that in here. Blue prism. Nicely done. So I guess now that this cupboard is open, I suppose we can put that green crystal back in. Just checking if there's blue doorknob. We're having that. So now we have 2 colors. this is a slight frustration. So if you have an object like the green crystal, it's a good example. So if you want to insert that into the right place, you'd imagine the game would be nice enough that you say, well, aren't I close enough now to put that green thing in there? And you press X and the thing usually goes away, so now it stays. That's nice, but it doesn't do what you want. I'd like to see it just be a little bit more lenient. I mean, look, I'm almost lined up here, and it's really hard to do with a controller, and it doesn't give me it just doesn't give it to me. You know, I have to like inch another couple of pixels forward, and it's just, I wish they would just iron that out and just make that a more enjoyable and less frustrating gaming experience, because that's one of those things that really puts you off, especially when you have to trial and error this with a lot of objects. It's just, you know, it's an easy fix. Just make it a little bit bigger, that hotspot, and just give it to the player a little bit quicker. And again, it could well be that this is not an issue in the PC version, and it could be that this is only an Apple Arcade issue. Like here, same thing. So you're not exactly, I mean, it's there, isn't it? But no, the thing doesn't give it to me. I need to be a little bit closer so that the thing lights up white. But hey, just saying. How to improve, how to make a very good game into a great game. Those are the nuances. I like this green and blue with no red, I must say. Let me know how you find it, Dreamlab, because that would be a really nice alternative if it does the trick. And I've not looked into it either. Depends, like Christina said, depends on how different it is, I guess, from Photoshop. I suppose what many of us are kind of suffering from is the fact that we know Photoshop. We just know how it works. Got used to it over 20 years, didn't we? 20 years, my God, that's how long we've been using Photoshop. Record player. And we found that missing bar stool. So maybe let's put that in place. See what happens. And actually, while we're up here, now that the blue crystal is in, let's take a look at that blue object that was in here. Aha! Now it's a book. Wow, Steve, that is so long ago. That is not when I used it. I think I used Photoshop after 2000. I think it must have been sometime in the noughties on a Mac. It was Mac only, wasn't it? I think my first version was Photoshop 5 or 7. That was before they had CS. That's kind of confusing to think about, that there was a Photoshop 5 and there was also Photoshop CS5. That's crazy. I think CS5 is the first version I bought for Mac. That's the first time I got it. I think up until then I had kind of an illegal version from China, which was Photoshop CS. But around that time I started doing more commercial work with photos, and I thought, yeah, well, I'm not going to risk not having an illegal version of Photoshop, so I invested. And that was for no, I'm lying actually. Photoshop CS3 was my first version for PC. And when I upgraded to the Mac in 2011, then I bought CS5 for the Mac. That's how that was. Floppy disks, so cute. Mine was a DVD. I think it was a DVD. 3 actually, there were some goodies on there. I don't think we can do anything with this yet, but you know, we have it. Mental note made, blue book opens up, clocks inside, good stuff. Anything on TV. This is kind of a nice holding loop, isn't it? That alone is a reason to get that game, because you get so many funky just animations that you can use. It's just so cool. Just go and mask that area off and put 3D shenanigans holding loop on the inside. That's going to be really funny. And a nice atmospheric soundtrack. Julia just placed 23rd on Fortnite. Wow. And that's just for one application. My God. Do you remember how much it was back in those days, Steve? Would imagine it's kind of similar price to today, right? I mean, like from before they started the subscription thing. Because Photoshop was always super expensive. Like here, same thing, you know? Am I not close enough to put the stool in here? No, I have to kind of be in a different position. I remember doing this thinking, that's not where that goes then, and then not trying it again, and even though my brain already had the correct solution there, so... Ha! $1,800 German marks. Whew, that's crazy! Especially if that's your monthly salary. Gross. Maybe this switch does something. Let's switch it, see what happens. Satisfying clunk. I'm not sure if it did anything though. Oh, that's good, that's good. Yeah, that's always good when companies do that. Furnace. I think this is the place I got stuck in. Because this thing can be opened, but again, it's when you hover over that and you don't see anything, you go, yeah, well, that's... I've tried that, I guess it doesn't work. Well, no, you have to just go closer to it, and I wonder how many more people would have played this game for longer had the navigation be a little bit more... just more user-friendly. And I'm saying this because it has more ratings on Apple Arcade than it has on Steam. So it tells me that there's a huge audience of people who are willing to try these things out on Apple Arcade and willing to leave reviews there. So I guess in that respect, Apple Arcade might be something that works similar to YouTube for other projects, where it brings in the audience and then brings in the interested parties. What's a CT, Christina? So Steve, I remember that up until like in the CS3, CS4 days, it was Australia got a really good deal on Adobe products. I think it had to do with the exchange rate. It was so crazy. I read that people would buy a ticket to fly to Australia to buy a copy of the Creative Cloud Master Suite thing, whatever it was called, in Australia and bring it back to the US and into Europe, because that combined was cheaper than buying it in the US or in Europe. Can you believe that? It's unbelievable. I don't know how they stopped that. I think it was, I don't know if the exchange rate kind of flattened out or whatnot, but yeah, that was cheaper to do it. And yeah, it's kind of get a nice layover in Sydney, I guess. But bizarre, isn't it? You think, well, make it cheaper in Europe then, man. It's just, what are you doing, Adobe? Yeah, I suppose now we're all locked in. Oh, you're a certified trainer. My goodness. Yeah, absolutely. Our company, we had this as well. I think in the UK, it was something along the lines of £1,000 every year or every other year. I think it was every year, so that our graphics department could stay updated. But it wasn't just £1,000, it was also £1,000 per seat. So they had like 8 seats or something, and you go, oh, that's getting expensive fast. Oh, you couldn't update anymore. That's crazy. I don't know what we're burning. I'm not sure yet. Oh, that's clever. Thank you, Adobe. That's really clever. Region specific, my foot. Of course, they find out about these stories and they go, hey, we're losing tons of cash here. Let's make sure that doesn't happen. Jones, get coding. Do something. Jones has to work overtime. I'm not sure if it's time for another clue yet, or if we can work this out. I'm not entirely sure what's happening next. So we need to find the red crystal, or the prism rather. We've solved this bit here. But it's also one of those games where once you've done one thing, something else might happen in another part of the game that you can then do something with. Like this crank here, I don't think we saw that before we had the green crystal in place, and now, or the prism in place. And there's a couple of those instances. I don't think the phone booth opens up yet. Yeah, now they've got us by the balls because of all the subscription thing as well. Behind the building, let me try it out. I don't think so. I don't remember doing that. Oh, there's the dumpster, of course. Can we do dumpster diving? No. It's a good atmosphere, though. Wish they'd served coffee, though. All right, Steve, we'll be here. Yeah, it looks like it's not going into the back of the house. Oh, but there is something else. I wanted to show you this. You get an achievement for that. I think I have unlocked that. So the end of the world here is actually fairly, you know, it's kind of, the road literally just ends here. And that looks a little bit weird. It seems to stretch further into the distance over here. But no matter if you go over here, or if you go into the field here towards the fence, or if you go over here, watch what happens. And that gets you essentially into this eternal loop that you cannot leave this patch of land. And when you do that for the first time, you unlock an achievement. I think, yeah, there we go, the wormhole achievement. There's a very clever way to keep the player confined, but also not make it look... I don't feel weird about this. I'm just thinking, yeah, this is an eerie, weird place that we're in here. And yeah, of course, something like that would happen. So I like that. Same here, just go whoop. There we go. Wormhole achievement. Indeed, yes, invisible walls, like the end of the adventure is here. And I think this is cleverly done so that you just know where your place is. It's not out there in the desert. Don't spend 5 hours walking. It's not good. This is not where the game continues. So there is, from what I remember, there is a record that we can put on here. I don't remember where that comes from. But we do get that. We get the record, and that plays a different type of music. Maybe it's something up in the attic. Who knows? Maybe we've overlooked something. I tried dumpster diving in Stardew Valley. Vincent was not amused. There's the record. How interesting. I was just thinking of a record, and there it is. Ha! Let's pop that on the record player. I don't remember what happens next, but I'm glad that's where that was. I suppose when we were up there the first time, we only had the blue crystal in and not the green one yet, and hence it didn't... Exactly, that's why. So I think that's a very clever... It's just a very clever way of hiding objects in plain sight. There we go. Let's play the record. Red crystal. I say. Prism rather than crystal. I don't know why I'm calling them crystals. And something interesting. Seeds. Okay, cool. Seeds, I believe I remember what we do with them. I guess we can plant them outside. I do remember that we need to burn something. We need to put something in the furnace, but I don't remember what that is. If it's an object I have to find or whatnot. Here, this thing. I think that lets us plant the seeds. Aha! Oh, man. Pick the object. Undo the... Oh, there it is. I had it all along. It was just off the screen. Righty. Peas or whatnot. And... let's make sure it's all covered. Another ticket thing. With question marks. Oh, Christina, that is really exciting. $55, huh? How do you pronounce it? Is it Photopea? Photopia? Photopia? Oh, that's the free online. Right, right. The other one was... what was that again? The other one. Affinity photo, that was it. Yeah, Affinity. I suppose... oh wow, and that's online, is it? Free and online. Woo! That is crazy good. Yeah, how about wood? Indeed, I think it's wood that we need to put in there. But again, it doesn't give me that clue when I'm hovering it. I'm hovering over it. I have to really go very close to that object to go and pick up that wood. Crazy stuff. I like that it lights up immediately. I don't have to light it myself. Alright, let's put that red jobby in here. And indulge ourselves in all the colors. Ah. And you also don't have to pay anything. I guess. No learning, no paying. I have to try that out. That's really cool. So you have to, you can, does it deal with PSD files and layers and all that? It does do that? Steampunk Belladonna, how you doing? Oh, smart layers as well. Nicely done, nicely done. Definitely something to check out. I'd love to see that. That's marvelous. We're just talking about Photopia, Photopea, whatever it's pronounced. Interesting online service that works just like Photoshop. So I guess, right, we put the red crystal, the red prism in downstairs, in which case we see all the colors. That's what we want, that's okay. But because it's then unlocks the red color, there's a gate behind us. And there's a lock on there. We need a key for that lock. And I don't quite remember where that key is. Actually, I think I do. This is very cleverly hidden. I believe it's in the suitcase. No, it's not. So there's something, I do remember that as well. There's something here, like where I'm hovering over now, this little thing that will unlock something in the suitcase that we thought we were already done with. But that button is only going to appear at a later point in the game. I don't remember when. I thought maybe that's where the key is, but I guess it isn't. So where else do you think the key could be? What do I have to deal with? I'm sorry, I don't get that. What do I need to deal with? Oh, put adverts there instead of supporter credits. That's a good idea. Maybe that'll make some extra income. Where might I find the key, I wonder? It hasn't got anything to do with the TV set, where there's still nothing on. Still nothing on the ticket either. Good idea, yes. I should try UHF channels. Do you remember what we did with the key? Where did the key come in? Yes! Julia had the answer. That is very clever. Thank you so much, Julia. Very exciting. Good stuff. So the thing is, I remember this now. This took me forever to figure out as well. There are clocks here. And we have a blue book that contains a clock. And I think we have to somehow put that clock to the same time as these things already are. But this isn't doing anything right now because the red crystal needs to be inserted for that. So we're saying it's kind of, I don't know, 20 to 5, 20 to 4, something like that. 20 to 4, that's thereabouts. 18 minutes to 4. So that clock says that, and I think there's another clock that says that. Yeah, I think we get it for 10 actually. Yeah, $9.99 I think we get it for Christina. Photoshop only. And it comes with Lightroom. It's called the photographer's plan. So you get Lightroom and that, and you get a little bit of Creative Cloud storage. So same time on this clock, and same time actually on the third clock, which gives us a super accurate time. There it is, 3:42. So that's kind of the digital equivalent of that. And once we go back behind this thing here, put that thing in there. Now we have all the colors, and we have the gate, and we need that key for this thing here. I think now we can also see this number here, very nice, so 7334, very interesting. Now we can try and turn this clock to where it needs to be. Ish. Was it kind of 20 to 3 something? This might be easier in the Steam version. I'd say it's close enough, but I guess this is close enough. Ha 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 ha, there we go. That was unexpected. Yeah, me neither. I've not used Lightroom since... It's actually since version 1.0. I bought that. I bought 1.0 on CD when it came out. Aha! Escaped from the red gated prison, and we have all colors in now. That's exciting. Excellent. And now we can also see the second slidey thing here. The green one we could already shift, but this one, boom, is new. That looks like the phone booth. Maybe we'll have a look at it. 7334 indeed. Thank you. When I had a good digital camera, Lightroom made a lot of sense to me because it had options that you could manipulate, like 20, 30 pictures that you took under the same conditions with one value. That made a lot of sense. That was really good. And it was also good to just manage the amount of pictures I used to take back then. I had a Canon, the first version, Mark I version of the Canon EOS 1DS back then. That was good. That was a very good camera. It had a whopping 12 megapixels. But at the same time, it was like one of the highest resolutions you could get. Indeed, exactly. Yes, you would just go and pick your lighting and you go, that's great. The next 100 images that look exactly like that, boom, all color corrected in one fell swoop. That was good. $6D, absolutely. That's probably one of those I would buy a Canon again. We still have a 400 D400. That's also from many years ago. That's the one with the slightly smaller sensor. That's good, still a good camera. It had the kind of the dust off thing on the sensor there. Good thing. And the S lenses, the EOS. The EFS lenses, I think it takes, but we haven't used that in a while. It's literally the mobile phone's fault for taking such good pictures that, yeah, still they don't really replace a good digital camera, but for convenience. Yeah, this is kind of cute. The moon is a coin that we need to insert into the telephone. So I guess we need to dial these. I would imagine these are maybe numbers that we need to dial. And I can see that the red thing ends with the kind of a, what is that, like 3 water droplets or something. We have that key here, but we don't have it for the green ticket. I think it's green then red, and we just omit the leaf. So we just go green numbers, red numbers, followed by the water droplets. I think that's what we do. So 1227 first, I think. Bridge is terrible. I don't know why they're so hooked up on Bridge. I really can't understand it. And Dreamlab said earlier 7334 is for the red ticket, so let's do that. 7-3-3-4. I wish also this would be easier to navigate, at least in this thing. It's just not easy to do with on Apple Arcade. And then this. Aha! We have a connection! Even though we haven't got a connection. Now it's raining. And we can finally see the diner's neon lights in their full glory. There we go. Oops. Went too far back. Wormholed myself again. All I wanted to do was take a nice white shot with my imaginary 6D with the full frame sensor. There we go. Now what do we do? I would imagine, Christina, yes, exactly. Yeah, I think for people who take large quantities of photos, it's a really nice way to manage those photos, absolutely. I think back then Lightroom even had a way of letting you take, I think it was Lightroom that was built into Lightroom, that you could take a picture and it would transfer it directly into the Lightroom catalog. So you don't have to put it on the memory card and then transfer the contents from the memory card into a computer. That was also in the days before USB 3, of course. And that just always that took a while to do that. I think USB 2 hadn't quite come out yet, and they did this via Firewire. That was a cool way to literally take a picture, and moments later it would be on the editor's computer, and he could already do preliminary color correction. That was very, very cool. Yeah, you can still do that. It's a very good way if you have a studio setup. I suppose it's wireless these days, but that's really cool that you can literally take some photos in the studio and then have them on the large monitor right away for evaluation. That's kind of cool. Yes, indeed, I remember that. There was something. See, now this thing is available in the suitcase. See this red little notch here? That wasn't there before. Ha ha ha. Yes, I remember I've heard of cards that were literally Wi-Fi adapters that slot into an SD slot. So any device that would usually save something on an SD card could save it on that, and then that thing would do Wi-Fi. I think it was also, this idea was also popular with sports photographers who would be on the ground taking pictures, and then their news agency would literally get it right away as the game was still happening. That was a very cool selling point then. Card with holes, number 3. Let's combine that with this. Card with holes, number 3. Ah, indeed. Card with holes and the number 3. Anything with a number 3 that rings a bell here? That's interesting. So it looks like the red things, they don't... The switch is held in place with the red little prisms here. So I suppose if we ever wanted to change this, we may have to go and take the red prism away for a second. I think we had to do that. Not that there's anything on TV, I don't know. Tethering, yes, tethering. It was called tethering because commonly that was done on a wire. So you connect the camera with a cable to the computer. That's the tether, essentially. That's why it's still called tethering. So now we just replace that wire with wireless. So it's yeah. So now it's wireless tethering. Exactly, yes. Let's see if that is that anything we need to. Was that good? I can't tell. Did we do the right thing? No. Yeah, it could be that probably during the B and N days. I suppose today that would maybe be a little bit faster. I remember back in those days, I tried it out because I had a Firewire card on my computer, and I didn't have the studio set up or anything. But I just out of being a tech geek, you think, yeah, let's try that out. And it also took about 10 seconds or so via Firewire back then to transfer an image. And that's probably also because the computers back then were slower, and it took them a while to understand, hey, there's a new thing in that folder to display. So yeah, there's all that as well. There's like the data arriving, but then Lightroom or Photoshop understanding, hey, let's do something meaningful with it. Well, let me take this thing out and see if it makes any sense to switch the channel upstairs. Only because I'm thinking if that's held in place, I guess they want us to do something with that mechanic. No. Does it make sense to watch the TV with this? No. Fine. Just a thought. Well, I don't know then. Maybe we need to have another clue, because I don't remember where to go next or what to do. I think we're done with this. I don't think we do anything with that anymore. Nor with this. Do you have any ideas that I should try out before I call the cavalry and ask for another clue? Oh, okay. Sure, absolutely. I'll try it again tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. If you're around, drop by if you want to play some Stardew. I'm looking forward to it. Same here, no clue at all. Thank you so much for hanging around so long. This was a nice long session. I like it. Let's have a hint. Maybe there's an item near the well? Oh, maybe there is. It's raining outside. I'm not sure if I want to go out. It's like all, wet and stuff. An item near... Yes, look at that. I can totally see it through the window here. It's this thing. It's the picture of something peeling off. Well, then, exactly. We don't have much longer to go, actually. The game is almost finished. Probably another 20 minutes, half an hour, I'm thinking. It's a picture of the thing in the basement. Oh, basement this way. Yes, I saw that, Steve. Nice work. Little bit. What's the character? Is it because it looks like a Girl 4 type character? Is it based on a Victoria 4 type figure, or is it a modern character, shall I say? Yeah, this. I'll put this red thing back, just because I like all the colors. Yeah, so this, essentially, that is That is that picture. Oh wow, look at that, it's almost in the correct position. When I tried to solve this earlier, I thought this is... Oh, it's a girl 4 character, right. Similarities immediately jumped out. When I tried to solve this earlier, I thought this is actually a superliminal type thing, that you had to be in the right place to line this image up. So it just happened by accident that it's so close to the real thing, because if you just move slightly further over here, then you can still see it's the thing, but the perspective doesn't line up. So I thought maybe the clue is to park myself in the correct position and then have a look at the picture, but that is not the solution. And I forgot what the solution was, but this was not it. I thought this was would have been funny to try and make that happen. So picture that. Oh, I know, I remember. We just look at this thing through that. No, that's also not what we do. Yeah. Rebel Mommy, yeah, she makes amazing characters. Huh. Do we need yet another clue? So fast after the other clue? Because there's really nothing else we can do here. We've only got 2 items. Do we need to look at this? Is that something we should be doing? No. That's an idea. No, it doesn't behave like an object that I can use in the scene. I think it's just, you just look at it. I wonder if I'm always thinking about adventure games. I'm always thinking they're giving us these things. Everything has a reason, usually. And I'm thinking that this thing having a flapped over corner and the back of it being blue, does that have anything to do with the blue crystal or the blue prism? Do we need to take the blue prism away and see if something happens? Could be. Do you think that could be a cool collaboration, actually? Or not so much collaboration, but there could be, it's like the girls from TNA from Down Under, like the Down Under division of the girls from TNA. Similar concept and all. It's nothing new in the papers, is there? No, I guess not. So maybe then, let me take the blue thing out. I think that was upstairs, wasn't it? Let's see. Ow. Let's see. Oh, right. Of course you are. Do you know, or are those, the thing on the flapped over corner, does that say something about the TV? Is this, now that I see it without the blue, I'm thinking that looks like the static from the TV. I wonder if that's somehow related. I'll leave the blue thing out just while I investigate this. Like this, that is essentially what we see on the back of that photo. I wonder if we pop these. That's interesting. So slightly changed game mechanics. When you look at the photo, it just comes up as a large photo, but here you can actually use it. Can you? Man, a minute ago you could. Like that. Ah ha ha ha! Look at that! Now we see this thing on TV. That's scary. So I wonder if we should just put the blue thing back then at the top, because, you know, we like a world in all colors, don't we? This menu is just annoying. That's just so annoying. Okay. And now that the thing is on TV, I wonder what it looks like in the basement. What I really enjoy about this whole scene is that it's not large. You have a basement, you've got the ground floor, you've got an upstairs and the attic, but because things keep happening all over the place, you have to kind of go back and forth, and it doesn't make you feel confined at all. I think it's a really nice size. It doesn't seem to get boring. You get fairly fast from one place to the other. How about we now look at this thing through the viewer? Does that make anything? No. Huh. I don't know. Viewer with holes number 3. If you guys have any ideas what I should do next, let me know. Oh, it stopped raining, by the way. Oh. At the TV viewer, oh, with the viewer on at the TV, yes, we can do that. That's a good idea. I just thought, before I do that, look at how our seeds have grown after a couple of minutes of rain. Ah, I see. Looks like we now have a legitimately grown way to climb up this tower. That's unexpected. Nice. I don't think we can do anything here yet. But I think this is kind of how this level ends. I seem to remember. Well, Rod, do remember the travel permits are not happening right now. Social distancing all the way. You know that, right? You shouldn't have your characters mingle with other characters. But then, in 2 weeks' time, this is all going to be over, isn't it? So, 2 weeks. That is a good idea, Brian. Let's have a look at this with that viewer thing. No. Dang. That was a good idea, though. Could it be that we're just not on the right channel? Let me see what happens if I take the red prism out again and then change the channel and then see what that does to the picture on the TV. Yeah, Easter, I mean, you know, it's just around the corner, isn't it? Yeah, the Donald. So let's take the red thing out and then see when the picture changes, or if it changes, and to what. That is so funny. As if COVID-19 had applied for a job in his company. Aha! See? How exciting! Does anything else happen? Oh no, I can't even do it. It just automatically kicks me out. That's cool. Good stuff. Finally! It's showing something sensible. It's a still picture of some trolley. That's exciting. So perhaps we'll put that back. Oh wow. Oh my goodness. That was one of the questions that I had when I was speaking with a friend of mine in Germany, and I said, well, imagine I would be visiting you, or I'd be visiting my mom, and now this whole no travel from Europe is allowed anymore. Would I get back into the US? Could I go back home? And yes, I could go back home, and all the US citizens and residents in Europe, they can paintbrush, eh? Guess that's another thing for downstairs. They can go back, so they can go into the US, but the people in Europe, they can't. And you think, well, how stupid is that? Because while you've been in Europe, you could have, you know, got it, bringing it back into the US. So it's a little bit, it's just inconsequent. So I'm thinking, yeah, that's scary to hear that that your friends are kind of stuck in a country that they didn't even want to be in. But I suppose I can understand Tonga's position to say, well, to be really consequent about this, we can't let anyone leave or anyone come in to our country right now, including our own nationals, which is, yes, that's crazy. But if you really want to contain this thing, this is what you have to do, I guess. As ridiculous as it sounds. What do we do now? Can we pick this thing up? No, I think that was just there because it just held the paintbrush. Huh. Stuck again. My God. Oh. Turns out I didn't have to do that. I just got chucked. I just got chucked out of the diner. I remember this was the Evil Moon achievement. And now everything's black and white again. What did you do to my crystals? Oh. Wow. My God, that reminds me of that movie with Tom Hanks where he's stuck at the airport. That's a little bit like what that is, isn't it? You go, well, I'm technically not allowed to be here, but I'm also not allowed to go anywhere else. What am I gonna do? What a crazy situation. It just goes to show you what crazy times we're living in. Let me see if my crystals are still in place. Because I think I could just go gather them and do some... Aha, there we go. So the crystals themselves are still here, but they don't give us color anymore. Blue crystal, check. And red crystal from the basement. I don't know why I'm calling them crystals. They're clearly prisms rather than crystals. Certainly getting spookier here with the atmosphere and all. I mean, that is just such a grey area. I bet the officials at the airport will eventually see, or the officials in Fiji will eventually see, yeah, actually that doesn't make any sense, does it? What are we going to do with you guys? You're not allowed to, you don't have a visa for us. You're not allowed to go back. You're not allowed to go forth. Blue crystal down here, right? That was the idea. That's unexpected. Light beam above tower picture. There's a light beam above the tower. Items successfully combined. Let's check it out. Ah. I wonder... if we just use this and then... Yeah, look at that. It ever so slightly changes color. I mean, you can barely make it out. But we can use it here. Let's see what happens. Did anything happen? Oh, I suppose we need to put the crystals up there. Prisms, even. Indeed, yeah, what will Fiji do? Oh, that's a... You could write a novel about this. Just that curious situation. Be interesting to see. Did he just wink at me? He did, didn't he? Did you just blink? He totally blinks. Aha! Okay, now that we've got this contraption here, let's go and look through that viewer again. And I think that is it then. I think that's the end of that game then. I think. Well, at least in 5 minutes or so. Oh, I can run as well. I keep forgetting I can do that. Alright. We'll be here. That is a scary thought. Sunny afternoon. Color has been restored. So we just call a cab now, or an Uber. And nice sunny skies and all that. Look at that. This is all feels all very happy all of a sudden. That gives the FBI agent something to dance about. Since we can't go into the diner anymore, I guess maybe something's happening for us at the top of this. Now, maybe this is where we need that card with holes thing. Combine it with the viewer, and now use the viewer on the empty picture. That's the spirit, isn't it? Yes. Because this is how we got here. We looked through the viewer to an picture in the office and... Ha! Number 3! We're back! Or elsewhere. I don't know. But we're certainly not in Kansas anymore. I've read about a secret that has to do with this radio here. And I suppose it's kind of missing a dial. I can't really do anything with this. So I don't know if ever we find a dial, you attach it here and you get some kind of a message out of it. I've not been able to do that, but I've not been able to unlock any of the secrets in this game. So there are secrets to be found, I just haven't found any yet. And it could be because that's the Apple Arcade version. I mean, there are some achievements here that you can... Oh, look at that. Color has been restored, I guess. I wonder if this was the kind of the prophylactic map for the whole game, that you're doing what we've just done to several areas, and those areas that they just, you know, they never made it into the game. But it certainly has the potential. This is probably how I would do the levels as well. If I had like 5 or 6 levels, this is probably how I'd bring them together. And then, oh, there we go. Secret document. And then have us start from this weird office building. Yeah, I suppose we're missing a tuning dial here. But I think, Brian, your employer has kind of wangled something there. I think, you know, I'm not sure if you really are essential. I think she would like you to be essential so that the business doesn't go under or bad or does losses or whatnot. But are you really essential? triangle thing. And the picture's changed. So just when you thought, hey, this is going to be really awesome, let's go combine this with that and do more traveling, namely into that picture, and start the next level, you think, ah, man, that was it. Jason Godbey, thank you so much. And Chat and Keith for good music. And that was it. It's almost a shame because now that I'm getting into it, I'm thinking, yeah, where are the other 5 levels that I'd really like to give a go? But I guess it's not to be at the moment. He says he's thinking about a sequel, so there may well be a sequel at one point. I don't know if it's going to be bolted onto this game. It looks almost like the game's ready for that. It'd be kind of cool to have, yeah, to just have more levels like that. DLC or whatnot, I don't know. Right, that actually makes sense, that they can't afford to keep you off the books. They just want to make sure that if they need something, and I can actually understand that if they do need something, you guys need to be there. That actually makes sense. Six feet apart from one another. Can you imagine? 1,000 people voting, that's like 6,000 feet right there. 6,000 square feet, because you can't be next to one another either. They did that on one of our supermarkets, Trader Joe's. There's a queue now, so they're only letting so many people into the supermarket. And it's a fairly small store to keep the density in there to a minimum. And before that, there was just queues for people waiting to get in. Now there are queues with 6 feet apart, so that... Ay caramba. Der Super Anton participated in the beta tests. A lot of beta testers. How do you get on that sweet little list to beta test the sequel? Game if you are, huh? Very cool. Right, I saw you in the white suit. Yes, absolutely. I guess it makes sense. Dust particles on fiber lines, that's just performance degradation right there. And thank you for making this game. Jason, was it Jason? I think so. Thank you so much for making this game. We do appreciate it. It's my last day on the Apple Arcade, so I think I have about 4 hours left until they pull the plug. It's one of those things. It's $5 a month. I've had it for 4 months now and never really looked into it. And now that it's running out, I'm thinking, oh, maybe I'll have a look at that game. Maybe I'll have a look at that game. One of those things. My friends, thank you so much for spending so much time with me today. That was almost 4 hours that we spent together. That's very nice. I'll try to be back at 10 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time tomorrow morning for a bit of Stardew Valley. Until such time, have a wonderful night and be safe.